It's Champions League Wednesday preview time. We talk Atalanta against Real Madrid. We talk Borussia Monchengladbach against Manchester City. We have Jimmy Conrad. We have James Benge. We have all the preview info that you need. The Champions League Wednesday preview begins right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Qué Golazo, our Wednesday Champions League preview. So exciting. Jimmy Conrad, how are you, bud?
I'm great. I'm excited for these two matchups in particular, so I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about it. Hopefully you agree with me, because if you don't, it hurts my feelings.
Well, we always agree with you, Jimmy.
Not always. Not always.
But when we don't agree with you, we're very nice about it.
That's true. That's true. That's fair.
Aren't we, James Benge? Aren't we nice about it?
Not always.
Well, you're not.
You haven't asked how I am. I am very good.
James Benge, how are you, my precious brother?
I'm great. We've got a date for the pubs to reopen. It's the best news I've had in a year.
Wow.
April 12th. Don't you dare book me for a podcast. Well, actually, do book me for a podcast.
I'm absolutely booking you for a podcast.
Late night podcasting.
We need drunk Benge on the show is what we need.
Oh, absolutely. Pay me most of the day.
Love it, love it. Well, welcome everybody to our Wednesday Champions League preview. No pubs right now, but maybe we'll do one episode in a pub/bar across the West Coast, East Coast, and the UK. But anyway, let's talk Wednesday Champions League preview. The action continues. Two tasty matchups. And we begin, Jimmy Conrad. Let's begin with Man City as they face Borussia Monchengladbach. Oh, man, Man City, the machine that is Man City. Jimmy Conrad, what do you have for us?
Well, there really isn't much, to be honest. I've been racking my brain thinking about how Borussia Mönchengladbach is going to beat this machine called Manchester City, who have 18 clean sheets in their last 25 games in all competitions. That's on that side of the ball, and now they're obviously firing it up on the other side of the ball. I thought they took it easy on Arsenal this past weekend. They played at 50%. I honestly feel like, and Benge can correct me here, obviously, as an Arsenal fan, that they like Pep Guardiola's really good friends with Mikel Arteta, like super good friends. I honestly think he told his team, just go score in the first minute and then just chill the rest of the game. Okay, we want Arteta to keep his job. We really like Mikel. Don't worry about putting it up 3-4-0. We don't need to embarrass the guy. Okay, we're already better. Just have the smallest guy on the field, score a header inside the 6, no problem, and lights out. And they did. They locked it down 1-0, very friendly. Pep Guardiola's comments after the game were way over the top in favor of Mikel Arteta being the greatest manager of all time. That's not him. Anyway, I'm saying this because Manchester City can turn it on and off whenever they want right now. That's how good they are. Borussia Mönchengladbach are winless in their last 3. They've lost 2 of those 3. They're not in good form. And since they announced that their manager, Marco Rose, is leaving to go to Borussia Dortmund, it's been even worse. Like there's no, of course, and why wouldn't it be? I don't understand the German culture where you have to announce things 6 months in advance. It's so weird to me. Why not just finish your thing, even if you work it out behind the scenes? Don't announce anything. And then in the summer, just quietly go over to the other Borussia team. I don't get it. I don't understand that part of German culture. Anyway, I can't, tactically, there's nothing. Alassane Plea, sure, if they're playing against Shakhtar Donetsk, I think he would go off because he scored like 18 goals against them in the group stages. You have Marcus Thuram, terrific player. Lars Stindl, terrific player. Against Manchester City, they're going to get jack squat. They're going to get absolutely 0, everybody. 0. This Man City team is so good on both sides of the ball. It is done. So here's the thing. I think this could be one of the games where we're going to be like, can you just call the fight? Like 30 minutes in, just call the fight. It's over. It's done. I like Manchester City to win both halves, plus 205. I like Phil Foden to score. He was rested recently, and I think Phil Foden to score and City to win 2-0, 2-1, or 3-1. That's being kind, but I think that's the best value you can find, plus 500. Those are my 2 bets. Outside of that, there's really nothing. Everything is so one-sided on William Hill to Man City. I can't give you anything else and feel good about it.
Well, absolutely. Well done there, Jimmy Conrad. I agree with pretty much everything you said there. See, I'm being very nice. Listen, Man City, James Benge, right now, like prime Mike Tyson, as Jimmy Conrad's talking about right now.
I like that.
But the other fact, though, is, James Benge, you were at this game, Man City against Arsenal. So I'm wondering, just from you just seeing what they did on Sunday, which wasn't, it wasn't a 4-1 or 4-0, 5-0. But, once again, it never looked like Arsenal. It looked closer that Man City would get a second as opposed to Arsenal equalizing. But yeah, Arsenal played very well. But Man City's Man City. What do you have to say for Man City against Mönchengladbach from what you saw this past weekend?
I mean, I was blown away by this being you know, I've obviously seen a lot of them on TV, but seeing them in the flesh, this was Man City playing so within themselves. It was so easy. And they were obviously, you know, a lot of these players are conserving energy for this game so that they can go and, I mean, you know, let's take the boxing metaphor to its logical conclusion. Right now, Gladbach have all the punching of Homer Simpson, and they're about to play Drederick Tatum. This is going to be absolutely brutal unless, you know, Guardiola does his Guardiola thing and overcomplicates, which why would you against Gladbach? But actually, one of the joys of City at the moment is they just are overcomplicating anyway to pass the time. You've got Joao Cancelo. Sometimes he's a centre back, sometimes he's a midfielder, sometimes he's actually the right back that they put him on the team sheet as. At the start on Sunday, it was sort of like a 2-3-5. Pretty much every one of the midfielders was having a go at being striker. If you go and look at the pass map, you almost have Bernardo, Gundogan, and De Bruyne are in a line as the sort of centre forward. They're brilliant. I don't. They've been so good in the past, but I'm enjoying this version of City more than either of them because it's players you've not necessarily thought could be that good. John Stones and Ruben Diaz bullied Aubameyang. There was a lot of talk after the game that this was Aubameyang's fault. Well, no, John Stones and Diaz are swift, composed, strong. You know, as Jimmy said, player and Marcus Thuram, they're great players, really promising talent. They're about to come up against the best defense in Europe and a defense that can beat you anyway. It can outpass you. It can impose itself on you. It can keep pace with you. And then up front, they've just got this groundswell of amazing attacking talent. I think we're looking at a team that should be considered the favourites of the competition, are going to win this tie in the first leg, could win this tie in the first half, could win this tie in the first 10 minutes. They're that good.
Yeah, 15 goals conceded in the Premier League. I mean, that to me is the most revealing thing, the fact that Man City are doing it when they don't have the ball. They're just like, they're not letting you have anything. Joe Cancelo, by the way, I'm such a fan. He should have finished it with his left foot, though. Remember that one when he went inside the box? He chose his right because he's so heavily right-footed. He should have gone left. But anyway, Jimmy, you bring up a good point, which I want to bring up again about Borussia Monchengladbach. Marco Rose making his decision to go to Borussia Dortmund, announcing it so early. I've never agreed with you on any more than this. I find it so weird. No, okay, we get it. You know, it's fine. Business is business. We'll take care of it no matter what happens. To me, and specifically in moments like this, what do you get when you're a Mönchengladbach player and you're in the dressing room right before Man City? It's like, I understand the motivation in terms from an individual and team perspective, but it's just very weird knowing that your manager already doesn't have the faith of your club after a certain time. He's already going to go. How does that impact a player? So you, as a former player, if you are playing for a club, a promising club in the Champions League or like in a very big tournament, whatever it is, and then your manager says, you know, weeks before, I'm going somewhere else, by the way, to a rival in the same league. What does that mean to you mentally, do you think?
Well, this happened to me when I was in the lower divisions in this country before I had climbed the mountain to get to MLS, and onwards and upwards I went. But he left to go to Hungary to go coach. And he told us about a month in advance, and you can just tell he's checked out. You can tell he's looking forward to his next adventure. He's just trying to survive and get through the day. And you could tell he was distracted with, I got to move my family from the States over to Hungary. You could tell all that stuff was going on, and his heart wasn't in it. His passion, his concentration wasn't the same. That wasn't in the same league with a team that you're competing with to get a Champions League spot this season. There's so many weird complications to announcing this right now. Borussia Dortmund maybe had a little bit of a bump from that news. I mean, they went and beat Sevilla in Spain, which was no small feat. And maybe they got something. Maybe he gave some information to Edin Terzic, the interim manager, about how they should play, because they set up in a formation they hadn't really tried yet, that 4-3-2-1 Christmas tree formation. So I don't really know. But yeah, as a player, you'd be without knowing who's coming in. Like maybe if they had announced, hey, Marco Rose is leaving, but we have this guy coming in. All right, then you'd still be like, okay, well, at least this guy's focused on us. At least we have some hope that with this talented manager, we can do something. It's really weird. I don't understand. From a player perspective, I think Robert Lewandowski announced he was leaving. We know that Upamecano was announced he's going to Bayern Munich. David Alaba, I think he's going to Real Madrid. I think he's kind of playing the game at the moment, but he's ready to announce he's leaving as well. From a player perspective, I think if you're on the team and you know that one of your players has this opportunity to go play for Real Madrid, you're like, dude, congratulations, good luck. Let's just see out the season and have some fun. And you can talk to him on a more peer-to-peer level. But when your manager does that, are you going to go give your manager some crap because he's leaving early? I don't think you say anything to your manager. You just kind of have to suck it up, and that's just the way it is. And I don't know. It's weird. And Mönchengladbach have not played well since that news is broke. And I suspect that even if the news hadn't broke, they're still going to get their butts kicked by Man City. But maybe they would have had a chance because they could lean on that togetherness that they had in the group stages to qualify for the knockout rounds for the first time in their history. But now it feels a little bit like we're all not rowing the boat in the same direction, and that's never a good vibe.
Yeah, Bench, just final thoughts before we move on to the next game. What do you make of it?
I completely agree. I mean, my mind was going back to moments like Pellegrini's last 6 months at City when we all knew that when it had been announced that Guardiola was taking over. And I do think there's a difference when it's all a bit more formal. I remember when it was formally the case that Sir Alex Ferguson was leaving Man United at the end of the season as well. And everyone just coasts. Everyone coasts in the same way that, that we all coast in work when the boss is on holiday. Of course, we don't. But,
I was just going to say, I hope our CBS Sports bosses are not listening.
What do you, Benj, I cannot agree to that. But yes, I see other people that happened to.
Every other person at CBS Sports, except the three of us, would absolutely coast.
I agree.
We would pick up the slack. But
we would absolutely pick up the slack.
The rest of these work shy.
These wine merchants trying to make life out, like, absolute. But no, you make a good point. There is history of managers, but it's different. Sir Alex Ferguson left a legacy. He's retiring. Pellegrini, you knew his time was up anyway. Man City wanted to move on. This is Marco Rose, one of the most talented managers in Europe. And I'm sure, by the way, that he had plenty of conversations with these players even before the announcement was made, of course. But to Jimmy's point, it's just, as a player, what do you do? I mean, I think about Marcus Thuram. We interviewed him here on Qué Golazo Pod. Very smart, really confident, super obsessive about his future and his fate. So what does that mean when you when you enter the Champions League and you think you're playing the best team in Europe and you're saying, well, my manager's going in a few months. I'll do it for myself. I'll do it for my team. But what does that mean when I'm at halftime, 3-0 down? What is my manager going to say? I don't want to completely dwell into this, but it is a weird one. And I think it's important to just think about it because it's not, I'll tell you one thing, this would not happen in South America. People's houses would burn.
And that's why I love South America, baby. Let's go. I love that.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, let's talk about the next game. Hey, everybody. I wanted to let you know about Paramount Plus. You've probably seen the Journey to Mount Paramount spots featuring Bill Cowher, James Corden, Pat Stewart, Beavis, and Butthead. It's been quite a squad. But Paramount Plus is live sports, breaking news, and a mountain of entertainment. You can go straight from game day to movie night with Paramount Plus. You can stream iconic movies like The Godfather. Another one of this for you, Michael. You like that? Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible. New episodes of the critically acclaimed original series like Star Trek Picard, The Good Fight, and The Stand. Get this. It's where you can dive into live sports from CBS Sports, including the NFL, March Madness, the Masters, and of course, the Champions League. Plus, stream hit shows from CBS, Nickelodeon, MTV, BET, Smithsonian Channel, and Comedy Central. We got live sports, we got breaking news, we got so much entertainment. Paramount Plus, streaming March 4th. The Colombian duo, Duván Zapata and Luis Muriel, Atalanta face Real Madrid. I'm such a fan of this game right now, just from a neutral perspective. I'm rooting for Atalanta big time. Sorry, Real Madrid. Jimmy Conrad, what do you have for us? What a good game. Hopefully this will be. I know RM a lot of injuries, but what do you have for us?
Yeah, I'm going to start there. No Benzema, no Sergio Ramos, no Danny Carvajal, no Fede Valverde, no Eden Hazard. Not a big surprise there. The backups, though, for Hazard, Ramos, Carvajal are out as well. So no Militao, Rodrigo, Odriozola. I mean, it's a bit of a mess for Zinedine Zidane, the manager of Madrid. What I find interesting, though, about these guys is that they hang around. They just hang around. They're good enough to just hang around. And if you keep making mistakes, they're going to pounce. And suddenly, they had no business winning their Champions League group stage. Absolutely zero business winning that. but they win their group stage. How did they win their group? I just don't know. And then they're hanging around in La Liga. Atleti now dropped 4 points in the last 2 games against Levante, and now they're back in the conversation. Oh, maybe Madrid can win this. And because of their experience and their calmness, even through adversity, they're going to somehow potentially win this title. And you're like, how did they do that? They were not good this year. They were not up to that real Real Madrid standard that we've known to come and love and expect. But that's part of their charm. And that's why they're Real Madrid, especially in this competition. I mean, they've won more titles than twice as much as the second club. That's crazy. Part of my issue, especially without Benzema, is who's going to score the goals. They have Mariano that will play. He played against Real Valladolid this past weekend. He's all right. He's serviceable, but he's not Benzema. It's like putting Braithwaite up top. Like, why would you ever, what kind of world do you say, you know what, I want Martin Braithwaite over Luis Suarez? I just don't understand. That's a Barcelona conversation. Sorry about that. So Casemiro scores the winner. And if you're relying on Casemiro to score winners for you, you got some issues. And so I worry for Real Madrid in this one, but they're going to do enough. I promise you, this is how the game's going to play out. Atalanta is going to jump out early, going to be all over them. Gasperini's going to have these masterclass tactics. They're going to go up 2-0. But then on some crazy, weak-ass set piece, something's going to trickle over the line for Real Madrid. They're going to get that all-important away goal, and then everybody's going to be healthy for leg 2, and somehow Atalanta is going to lose. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about leg 1, and I think that Atalanta is going to win. If you want to pick them to win straight up, that's plus 135. I like Atalanta to win and both teams to score, to my point that I just said, because somehow Madrid's going to get that all-important away goal. That's plus 275. I like that value a lot. If you want to take it one step further, get a little riskier, Duvan Zapata, a goal and assist this past weekend against Napoli. Dude's on fire right now. So for him to score, Atalanta to win, both teams to score, plus 480. And I kind of just like this one as a bit of an exotic. Duvan Zapata has to get 2 shots on target or more, plus 150 there. I think he will get some chances, especially against this Madrid team that employs Lucas Vasquez, who's a striker by trade and by nature. And that's how he grew up playing right back. I still can't get over that, especially when they let Achraf Hakimi go to Inter Milan. I'm done because I get like really upset about Real Madrid's decisions sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. This is a key component right here, aside from the injuries, and you mentioned it. Real Madrid, every time, it's kind of like Al Pacino and Godfather 3, right? Right when I think I was out, they pull me back in. That's Real Madrid. Whenever we think, no, they're done. We said they were done and they weren't going to get to the knockout stages. They won the group. So, sometimes you just have to think about that experience. And Zidane is cool as a cucumber. I mean, obviously Liverpool suffering so many injuries. Real Madrid the same. And Zidane's like, we'll take care of it. You know what I mean? It's like totally different. So James Benge, here's my question to you. Because I asked this as well of our man Fabrizio Romano as well, because he's a big fan of Atalanta, obviously. How big of a loss is Papu Gomez? How much is Gasperini's tactics going to help just overall? Jimmy mentioned Zapata. I have to emphasize Luis Muriel because he's amazing.
Of course.
How do you see this game unfolding, basically? Too many injuries for Real Madrid, but is the experience going to count for something? Can they get something done here in the first leg?
I mean, come on to Atalanta in a second, but like you say, I'm sick and tired of being made a fool by this Real Madrid team. We spent the whole first half of the group stages writing their obituary, not just, this team, this club, Spain.
Zidane was going to get fired. Yeah.
Zidane was going to get fired. And here he is, grinding his way to the top of the group. And for that reason, I'm really hesitant. And I did our predictions for the website, and I predicted a Real Madrid win because I'm sick and tired of them making me look like idiots. And I do think one thing to say is if I needed to take the heat and the pressure out of the game, I can't think of better players to do it than Modric and Kroos. And just watch them on Wednesday night, getting the ball, keeping it for 5-10 minutes, and just saying to Atalanta, you don't want any of the ball? That's fine. We'll keep it. You won't get anywhere near it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, no, it's a good point.
Obviously, you'd rather, if you're Atalanta, having a player like Papu Gomez, although he was dreadful for Sevilla last week. But it's that spark. It's that little bit of nothing. Zapata and Muriel, explosive, really good at running in behind. I wonder, I'm not an expert on Atalanta like Fabrizio. I wonder what happens if you just refuse to give them space to operate in. If you just say, we're going to hit you with a deep, it would be a very atypical Real Madrid performance. Hit them with a deep line of 4, then you drop 5 back behind in front of them. Mariano leads your press, and you just try and cope and you survive. And I do think the one thing that was apparent is that in the group stages, particularly with the defeat to Liverpool, where they got absolutely hammered, is that they're still not, for all the great work they did in the knockout stages and in Lisbon last season, they're still not kind of completely au fait with how European football works. They're still a team that can wobble, Atalanta, and I did think that was really apparent against Liverpool. And that's where my worry is for them, because we'd all love to see them make a success of it. The Champions League is always really fun when Real Madrid get knocked out by an unheralded young team. But there's a reason why this aging team just keep grinding away and, crushing the competition. And I do think Real are just the ideal team to take a little bit of heat out and a little bit of the storm out of Atalanta. And I don't know. I really hope I'm wrong.
Me too. And listen, there's no shame, Jimmy Conrad, in Atalanta losing to Real Madrid. We're talking about a club, by the way, who for most part of the last 6 years has had the budget of a mid-table championship side, who's basically done everything possible, Leicester City-ish, right, when they won the Premier League, to just keep climbing. It's amazing what they've done. So losing to Real Madrid, there's no shame. And to James Benge's point, there are cracks that have been shown, especially this season. I'm rooting for them so much because also, the city where the club is from suffered COVID more than anywhere else in Europe. They're just such a force. And obviously, we talk about Duvan Zapata a lot. Let me tell you something about Luis Muriel. When he's on, somebody said it in Serie A commentary back in Italy this weekend, and it's true. When he's on, there are flashes. It's not that it's him, but there are flashes of phenomenal. That's how good he can be. So, but Benge makes a good point. If you can just contain them, I wonder how the outcome will be. Final thoughts in this game, Jimmy Conrad, as Real Madrid visit Atalanta.
Well, first and foremost, I think Gasperini, the manager of Atalanta, knows they need to get something out of this first leg. They need to push and make something happen. So I think there'll be some urgency in how they're playing, but that speaks to Benge's point that Madrid are going to come in and try to kill the game off, keep the ball as much as possible. I think that Josip Ilicic doesn't get talked about enough. He's filled in admirably for Papu Gomez. He's a very special player, even though he's the ripe old age of 33. So if you guys get to watch this game, keep your eye on number 77, Josip Ilicic. He's a fantastic player. And he'll be the one feeding the ball to Luis Muriel and Duvan Zapata. So it should be very fun. They can hurt you in a lot of different ways. With regard to the back four, you have Vasquez, who's a converted striker, winger. You have Varane, who's dropped off considerably this season. You have Nacho, who's a yellow card waiting to happen. I'm going to look up his odds on getting carded in this one. And then you got Mendy, who's an upgrade over Marcelo because Marcelo has dropped off considerably as well. But he's still... I don't know if defending's his favorite thing to do. That middle three, though, Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, obviously excellent. But then you have Asensio on one side. It looks like Vinicius Jr. the other side, and then Mariano. That's not a very exciting Madrid team. But we were thinking the same types of things when they took on Inter Milan in Italy, and they beat them 2-0 in very professional performance and took advantage of some mistakes. Arturo Vidal in particular, I'm looking at you. With regard to Atalanta, though, they have only lost once in their last 11 home games. And of those 11, 8 were wins. And 9 of those 11, they scored 3 goals or more. So I really suspect they're going to go for it. And to your guys' point, though, because they're a mid-table team, because they don't have much of a budget, of course they're going to wobble in the Champions League. This is their second time ever that in the Champions League. And last year they got in the quarterfinals and were so close to knocking PSG out to book their ticket to the semis. And then this time around, they get to the knockout rounds again. So they're doing something right. And I hope that they'll learn from that experience last time around, because I'm sure that was heartbreaking to be so close to having a date with RB Leipzig, which we could argue they might have beaten RB Leipzig and gotten to the final. So they were really, really close to having a great run last year. And we could argue it was already a great run for them to get to that point. So I like Atalanta to win. I'm going to stick with that. I think both teams will score. I think the Madrid are going to find some sloppy goal to get that away goal. And I like that at plus 275. A lot of Atalanta to win and both teams to score.
Love it. All right. Well, I didn't ask the final score prediction. So before we say goodbye, let's do both games. Final score predictions. James Benge, let's begin with you on the first game, Gladbach against Man City. What do you have?
3-0 Man City. I think this is going to be a paddling.
Yep. Jimmy Conrad, Gladbach, Man City, final score prediction.
I'm agreeing with Benge there. 3-0 sounds nice and right.
I'm going to be a little nicer to Gladbach. I'll give them 2-0 to Man City.
Very kind. Very kind.
I'm being nice. A goal in each half. All right, let's go to the next game. Atalanta, Real Madrid. I think I know where both of you are going. I'll go first. I'm going to be a sucker once again. I'm going with Atalanta again. I want them to win this one so badly. I feel like it could be, you know what? Whatever. Hump day, Champions League. Who cares? 3-1 Atalanta.
Wow.
Let's see what happens.
Wow.
James Benge, what do you say?
No. Real Madrid are like a boot on the face of every young upstart European football team. They're going to win this 1-0. They're going to grind Atalanta's hopes to smithereens, and no one's going to like it.
Yeah, they're like Bill Sykes and Oliver Twist. They're just mean. They're just going to take care of it. Jimmy Conrad.
I'm going to split
the
difference here. I think Madrid will somehow find a way to grind out and win the tie over 2 legs. But in this first leg, I'm going to give Atalanta the 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Love it. Well, there you have it. All right. Well, that's our show. Before we leave, final thoughts from both of you. Anything that you want to say? The floor is yours. The mic I proverbially hand to you. James Benge, let's begin with you.
Before the Champions League games, there is a little amuse-bouche from the Europa League, my favourite competition. In terms of qualification, it's not that big a deal. Tottenham are 4-1 up on Wolfsburger, but Jose Mourinho is really starting to feel the pressure now. Obviously lost to West Ham at the weekend. And, that pressure is not going to, dissipate whatever the result. But if they were to, not win, not perform convincingly, or even if Dele Alli and Gareth Bale were to have great games, you're going to see more questions about Mourinho. So want to tune in for it for certain.
Absolutely. And you'll be at that game as well for us as well. So that'll be great. Jimmy Conrad, the final word to you, my friend.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the U.S. women's national team for taking down Brazil a couple days ago in the She Believes Cup. They beat Canada, and Canada sat back the whole time, and they figured out a way to unlock them to beat our rivals to the north. And then they took down Brazil, probably our rivals overall in the world as being one of the best women's team, 2-0. That was a much more wide open affair. So to see our women not play particularly great, but still grind out results against some very good teams in different ways is very promising as we look to win a gold medal, as we look to win another World Cup, because that's what we do. That's how we roll. Go on, ladies. We love you.
Yeah, they're amazing. And the She Believes Cup title, I believe, will return to them, I think, as Canada face Brazil at 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. And then the U.S. face Argentina, which, with all due respect to Argentina, it should be 3 points right there for the U.S., the World Cup champion. All right, well, there you have it. Jimmy Conrad, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
James Benge, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank James Benge and Jimmy Conrad for joining me today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Qué Golazo Pod. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/Qué Golazo. Please subscribe. All our videos are right there. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CBSSports.com. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Champions League and Europa League action. We'll be back with plenty more content. We're not going anywhere. Have a great week.